Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Tuesday, August 6, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with the Daily Mortgage Rate Update, the only place on the web where you guys get to join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, talk about what's going on with rates and pricing. I broadcast to you on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're here live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. If you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag an LO friend, share us in a group. Yes, no, stop. Tag an LO friend. Come on, I know you got friends, somebody in the business. Just tag them. Would love to keep a lot of people watching these shows live. Make sure you come back and join me live each and every weekday morning. If you'd like, you can also get our written lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com, or you can use this cool QR code. I send out an email each and every weekday morning. You can also get our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. They're $7 a month. Yesterday was a great example of that, or maybe it was the day before. We were sending out reprice risk and saving people before things got bad. Always good to protect your pipeline. You can also get a reminder that I'm going live each and every weekday morning, www.hmmr.io, hammer.io, hmmr.io. /reminder, or use this cool QR code here. Last but not least, don't forget that although I love talking about rates and pricing each and every weekday morning, you probably think of me as that rate guy. What we do at Originator Success is help you to get loans from Google and social media. We build out your online brand, your online platform. We customize and optimize all your social profiles. We either set up or clean up your Google business profile, optimize it so you rank in your local market. We help you to generate reviews. We've got an awesome review platform. Yes, getting Google reviews is extremely important, but with our platform, we help you to do that and protect you from losing those Google reviews. We also post content for you. Yesterday, we posted some content that did really well on Facebook for our members. Also, we've got some email campaigns to keep you in front of agents, past clients, and contacts. Basically, all done for you services that are the most critical components. We provide you with a website which pulls it all together, helps you to generate business. Go check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Set up a demo with Austin. He'll show you all about what we do and how awesome it is. So that said, let's go ahead and see who's here this morning. Let's say hi to all the live folks. Let's see what special day it is today, according to Mr. Ron Siegel. Good morning, Megan Lindberg, Whitney Forna. Great to have you here. Mark Clark, Deb Dickinson. Thank you so much. Mallory Fotiadis. Good morning. Monica Dinkins, Brandy Brickler, Mike Morano, Sean Segaloff. Great to have all of you here. Angela Walters. Love having you. Amy Blauser. Mike says he's got no friends. Don't worry, Mike. I'm your friend. Yasmin, good morning. Great to have you as well. Ron Siegel says, good morning. It is National Root Beer Float Day. Finally, Ron, something I can get behind. Who else likes root beer floats? And it's also National Night Out Day. Supports police community partnerships. That's very cool as well, for sure. Good morning, Corey Hill, Mike Tebow, James Mahan, Michael Love, Tim Klyla. Mike said, hit it again. Reprices for the worst yesterday afternoon. Yeah, I had a feeling we were going to see a pullback on Monday. Yesterday was an intense day when you see just what a global market we're actually living in, for sure. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate the kudos. Rock, great to see you, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Great to have you here. Dave Holland, I don't know that it's genuinely you unless you put hashtag Dave. I want proof. Sherry Keeter, good morning. Harry Dennis, Mandy Kangas, good morning, y'all. Great to have you here. Okay, so let's again, I love all of you here. Thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and dive into it this morning. Rate sheets still very erratic, especially if you're on the wholesale side. You're going to see lenders bouncing around, right? Remember, when it comes to rate sheets, we've got a lot of different things coming into play, not just what's going on with mortgage bonds. We're not bond traders, right? So even though mortgage-backed securities may either improve or get worse, there is more than that coming to play when it comes to rate sheets. Generally, when we take a look, mortgage bonds are about 20 basis points off of Friday's highs. So they've actually come back down now. And if we were just looking at mortgage-backed securities, let me go ahead and pull this up and we'll share the screen here. Hold on, let me share the screen and we'll take a look at this together. Here you go. Why is that not? There it goes. It's supposed to be side by side. Okay. All right. So let me get rid of this for a minute. Come on. Everything is so slow this morning. Okay, so take a look here, and you could see on Friday, this green candlestick that's right over here that you see, right, has a very long wick. We could see what a huge reaction we had to that jobs data on Friday and then how it came back down. But even still, we ended the day on Friday 100.91 for the 5.5 coupon. On Monday, we ended the day 100.65. This morning, we are at 100.65. So, I mean, we are about 25 basis points. It's actually gotten a little bit worse. So we were up a few when I wrote this. So we're about 25 basis points lower from Friday's highs. However, most rate sheets didn't see a full correlation on Friday. When you see this big move on Friday, so much volatility, such a strong, visceral market reaction. A lot of lenders, improved pricing, but they held back, right? They didn't necessarily give all of the gains. They need to hedge. You need to run your secondary department. Now, remember, what happens is when you lock a loan with your secondary department, they are generally locking that loan forward to be delivered. They're promising that loan to the investor, and they are being guaranteed that they're going to be paid a certain amount. And that's how the money works, right? So if you're locking a loan, let's say, and you're getting, your compensation is 2 points and there's a half a point lender credit. So that's 2.5 points. Your lender, they may be locking that loan forward to an investor for 5 points. So they're making a 2.5 point profit, which, remember, they have to pay all the closers and underwriters and run a business, right? So we're just running these numbers though. So what happens is when they lock that loan forward, now it has to be delivered. They are on the hook. They have to deliver a loan at the agreed upon price, certain amount of pricing, certain amount of rate. This is what they are going to be delivering that loan to. If they have to renegotiate, generally what happens is they have to lower their margin, so they're making less money, or they have to even find a different loan to put in that loan's place so they can deliver. Depending on, that's what the whole art of hedging is in the secondary department and in your lock desk. How many loans do they have coming in? How many of those loans are they promising and locking forward? What do they think? And this is why your lock desk and your secondary credit policy manager, this is where they make their money, is they have to look at, should we be locking? Are we going to make money? Are we going to lose money? This is why I explained to many of you that when a lender gets a lot of loans, you're thinking, well, they should be making a ton of money. But sometimes what happens is if they don't lock these loans properly and make money, they could actually lose money on all of that volume. So all of this, the reason we're talking about this, the reason I'm giving this little mini lesson is because that's why you see so much erratic behavior when it comes to rate sheets. They've got to look at, what do they already have locked? Can they deliver on it? How much volume do they want to be bringing in right now? Are refinances starting to start? Is this a lender that does a lot of VA IRRRLs? A lot of originators out there, that are doing VA IRRRLs, some FHA streamlines. And then good old regular conventional refis are starting to trickle in. So how much volume can they handle? All of this affects those rate sheet pricing. So when you see this erratic, volatile behavior, they have to worry about locking these loans and then waking up the next morning and the market's taken off, the market's settled down. So the good news is we are starting to see things settle down. So reprice risk on the day is moderate. It's, settling down, and this should help rate sheets kind of settle in. So we've seen some major volatility the last couple of days. You could see this huge candlestick. Yesterday, we started out the day up. So look at how much higher this was. It started the day at an open of 101.39 compared to 100.91. It started the day 40, 50 basis points better because of overnight trading, what was going on in Asia markets. And then during the day, we lost all this ground. Now, let me pop this out of the way, and I'm going to go full screen so you guys can see this a little bit clearer. And let's move this out of the way for a second. Okay. So look down here at the 2-day chart, right? So yesterday we had a huge open, and I'm going to put it on 5 days so you could really see that difference here, right? So yesterday, look at this giant open. See this? We opened up huge, way higher than where we were expecting to be. And then what happened is at 8:20, when domestic markets, when the US markets opened, we lost a tremendous amount of that because this was all in overseas and Asian markets and European markets. and in the US market, we were already on top of things. So we kind of caught back. As lenders came out with pricing, we were coming in around 101.10. And then the ISM data from yesterday that came in after the video, so I didn't have a chance to talk about that yesterday. The ISM data that came in yesterday um, came in a little bit better than expected, right? It showed economic strength still. Now, that's what I've been saying, is that this reaction to the jobs report, way, way, way overreaction. There is a lot of other economic data that's going to come in. We're going to get the CPI inflation data next week. Things are going to settle back. Now, here's the deal, and here's where my concern is. When it comes to the outlook, rates will hold this new range, but there is some risk. And when you look at what I've got down there for lock advice, let me fix this because this is wrong. 15 days lock. There we go. Okay. Sorry, let me fix that. I have two different ones out here, right? So, like, for example, I say, so the lock advice, anything closing in less than 15 days, I would be locking right now. There's a chance we could see things improve further, but it's a risk versus reward. And with this volatility, if it's closing in the next 15 days, we've seen tremendous improvements. Why put that at risk? We could see rates jump up from here, especially if that CPI inflation data changes the outlook of what's going to happen with the Fed. And let's go a little bit deeper and let's talk about that a bit, right? So let me move this over here. Let me tuck this up on the side and let's take a look here. So this is what we need to be watching. This is the only thing that is going to give us a very, very clear idea of which direction things are going. Is what are markets pricing in? We've seen this volatility, and what are markets pricing in for Fed rate cuts over the next few months? Now, right now, we have gone from a 1/4 point rate cut to a 1/2 point rate cut expectation. 75% of the probability is at 4.75, which is a 1/2 point rate cut. Now, here's the deal. There was a really good article this morning from Nikki Timros. And Siegel, you definitely, we talked about this, and you guys nailed it. You nailed it when we talk about the Nikki Timros article. So market sell-off upends Fed rate cut calculus. A further slowdown in the labor market could lead to a larger 1/2 point rate cut next month. Now, this article kind of sums up what I've been saying and what I believe. Right? Monday's market rout increases both the risks of a recession and a more harrowing financial market accident. It was an overreaction. We have seen a global market overreaction. It just kind of snowballed to that labor data, the Friday's week labor data. It was one report. We've seen, we talk about how inaccurate the BLS labor data is. And yes, it was a huge miss, but it was one report. Unemployment going from 4.1 to 4.3 because it leapfrogged that 4.2, which was a magic number for the Fed, considered to be for the unemployment. But even still, way, way overreaction. And the Fed is not going to overreact like the markets have. The markets panicked. Talk about an emergency Fed rate cut was absolutely insane. It was just ridiculous, and it's not going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, that talk is all settled down. The Fed is not going to step in and save equity turbulence, equity market turbulence, stock market turbulence. Okay, the stock markets have been way overheated. They're way too bullish about AI. Most of the AI stuff is shit, guys. It's still shit. It can make some cool deep fakes and you can do some movie stuff. There's a lot of use when it comes to cinema graphics and video stuff and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you were depending on AI to make you a drink, you're going to end up with a Bloody Chrissy and not a Bloody Mary. It just doesn't get it right. I mean, we're still talking about the fact that you ask for a picture and it gives you a human with 9 fingers, So anyway, stock markets really, really hit. But what he's talking about here, Fed officials don't meet again until September 17th and 18th. There, they could debate whether to kick off widely anticipated sequence of rate cuts with a larger reduction of a 1/2 point if last month's weak across the board employment report is indicative of a new worrisome trend. We would need to see the next labor report, which comes in on September 6th, we would need to see another huge miss, another big jump in unemployment. We would need to see this for at least 2 in a row. The Fed knows that the labor market is weakening because they caused it. That's what they did when they raised that Fed funds rate and held it there for a year. Okay. It is too high. It is meant to put its foot on the neck of the economy, including the labor market, and slow things down. The Fed is not going to panic because it's working. They're okay with it going beyond and pushing us into a recession because then they can come back to a neutral Fed funds rate and settle things down. Ron says it's very important to see what happens with the Nikkei tomorrow. It rebounded a bit overnight, but let's see what happens tonight. Yeah, we're talking about the Japanese market. Really, yes. Yeah, so right here is again, Ron. I'm assuming you like we talked about the article. Yeah, you nailed it, right? So taking a look here, slashing policy rates before then in between scheduled meetings would be very unusual. Those moves are generally reserved for notable deteriorations in market functioning that go well beyond an equity market swoon. Now, if there is an argument that maybe the Fed has kind of given some insight to Tim Ross as he writes an article like this, that this is the Fed's, this is their belief. This is what they're saying. The Fed isn't like, politicians. They're not just going to come out and start issuing statements, but as they start to talk in the upcoming weeks, we'll see them talk about all this stuff. Markets overreacted. It was way too much too soon. And I think that the bottom line, to bring this back to mortgage rates, I think we're going to see mortgage rates creep higher from here. I think we've seen some of the best. Let's call it the bottom, if you will, right? I think that, as I wrote here, rate sheet's still a bit erratic, likely finding a bottom. I think that this is some of our best pricing. I would be locking loans. When it comes to anything that's closing in the next 15 days, I would flat out be locking. I'm not floating it. I think we're going to start to lose some ground on this. When it comes to 15 to 30, consider locking it. Next week's CPI inflation data is the big key here on whether we could see any further improvement or not. But I would consider locking. I am leaning towards a lock bias. When we've seen this much movement, we've seen rates go from basically 7% down to 6.25. How many of you are quoting rates in the fives without points, without any discount points for conventional conforming? Anybody quoting rates in the high fives, 5.99 even, right? When you're quoting these rates, when we've seen this kind of movement, it's very likely we're going to see it pull back, and we want to be watching this Fed funds rate and the Fed funds futures and the probability of losing ground here. Because what I think is going to happen is markets are going to start to settle. They're going to give in to the idea that we don't need to see a half-point rate cut. Especially ISM data came in stronger than expected. The GDP data came in strong for that second quarter, right? We are still doing fine here. So when you take a look at this, if that CPI inflation data does not come in really, really good next week, I think we lose some ground. So I'm saying cautiously float 15 to 30, but that means consider locking. I might lock some of those. And the only ones I'm really feeling strongly about floating is 30 plus. Because if you got things that are outside of 30 days, generally it's going to be a while. And we don't have to worry. Whatever rates we're seeing now, we will return back to. When we look at where we're at for December, what's funny is we went from, if the Fed were to cut rates before the election, and then all of a sudden, like, that all disappeared, right? The political talk on Fed rate cuts totally disappeared. It'll come back, but it totally disappeared. And we take a look here, again, markets currently pricing in the idea 4.25. That would be 1 point in rate cuts. And if we did 3 quarter point cuts, that's only 3/4. So it's still, I don't expect to see this hold. The idea that we would be to 4, which is 1.25 points, or that we'd be more than that, into the 3s by the end of the year, has finally lost ground. I think we'll see this disappear altogether. I think this is going to drop down a lot. I think we're going to see more expectations that we'll see possibly 4 rate cuts. Because what would happen is they start out in September with 1/4. Maybe in November they hit it with 1/4. Maybe December they do 50 basis points. And we'll see. This all depends on economic data and how that data comes out. But let's remember that at the last Fed meeting, Fed Chair Jerome Powell was very clear. The Fed is looking at the data holistically, all of the data. They were not going to make a decision based on a single data point. So even though we had one, soul-crushing labor market report that showed a lot of weakness, the Fed was very clear in his press conference with Powell, they're not going to panic over that. So Ron said, keep it in mind, y'all. Hope that helps. Let me know in the comments. Always appreciate y'all being here. There's 70 of you on. I'm so happy to see all of you that are here. Thank you for joining me. We'll do this each and every day. I'll try to wrap these up a little tighter now, but there's been a lot to talk about. 20 minutes tends to be about my point here. I'm at 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cut it out. If you have been, if these are new for you, let me know. Be sure to say hello. Be sure to give me a hashtag replay. Be sure to share this with another LO. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And again, things should settle down a little bit more now. Doesn't mean you shouldn't come watch, but it means I'll get a little shorter. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.